Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Today we're doing another football video. Today I'm going to be talking about teams that made the playoffs this year. We're going to be doing a little bit of a ranking sort of thing. Not ranking of how they did in the playoffs, but ranking of each team's chance of making the playoffs next year. So obviously the season's over. The Philadelphia Eagles are the Super Bowl champions of the 2024-2025 NFL season. We are now moving on to the next season very soon. Well, not soon, but later on. Um, and yeah, so that's kind of the purpose of this video. I'm going to be ranking basically on a sort of a scale 1 to 10 system on each team's chance to return to the playoffs next year. So 10 being an extremely, basically guaranteed spot in the playoffs, 5 being a maybe. I mean, I'm not going to go over each one, but, and then 1 being absolutely no chance. And I think there's probably, I'm not sure if I'm actually going to end up playing any teams in tier, on 1. Maybe I might, but yeah, so that's basically the video. And by the way, I just want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you for tuning into this video. And yeah, so let's get started. We're gonna start with the NFC first, and we're gonna go from lowest seed to highest seed. So from the Packers to the Lions. So, anyways, today we're gonna be started with the Green Bay Packers first, and I'm gonna say they have a pretty solid chance to return. Now, they have been the 7th seed 2 years in a row, and in terms of success, you don't really want that, especially if you're the Packers, because like if you're the 7th seed, you're guaranteed to face the 2nd seed, obviously, and that's not really a good way to go, you know, because we obviously know they lost the Eagles this year, and but they beat the Cowboys the year before, but against the Cowboys, anyone can do that. Um, I think if the Packers can make it back, I certainly believe they can. I would say they have a pretty solid team. They have a pretty solid team around them, as long as they get some good free agents, maybe make a few trades, draft well, and play well within their division. I mean, they're probably going to still get swept by the Lions because that's been happening lately. But if they can at least beat the Bears and maybe even beat the Vikings, which did not happen this year, I don't. I think they got swept by the Vikings. I honestly don't remember. I'm pretty sure they did. If they could do a little bit better in the division, yeah, they did. They got swept. They lost to like all of them. I think the only team they actually beat was the Bears won. So really, their chances to make the playoffs really depends on how they do within their own division. As we know, they got swept by the Lions, they got swept by the Vikings, and they split with the Bears. But even then, that's not good enough. You can't just beat one of your division opponents, especially when you are in a tough division to where it's not just a tough division, it's a tough conference. There's a lot of NFC teams that can easily steal that 7th seed spot from the Packers. My Seahawks could have easily taken that 7th seed spot from the Packers if fuck, I forgot what happened. I think in terms of like the scheduling or not scheduling, it was like I think because the Falcons lost, we got kicked out of the playoffs. But really, any team that's like close, like around 10 wins, can easily steal that 7th seed spot if the Packers are in that position to get the 7th seed again next year. So if you're the Packers, they gotta do way better than just the 7th seed. They gotta move up to like the 6th, 5th, maybe even better, win their division. But winning their division is I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think they listen. I do think they have a good team, but I don't think they have a good enough team to beat the Vikings or the Lions. Maybe the Vikings, especially with no, they got swept by the Vikings. We'll talk about the Vikings later because there's a bit of a quarterback controversy going on, and people are debating on what they're going to do. But I think the Packers. I'm going to give them a solid 8 out of 10 chance to make the playoffs next year, as long as they can do better in their division. But granted, actually, no, I'm going to move that ranking down to a 7 because again, their performance within their own division was bad last year, and again, like if the Falcons are even a slightly improved team, if my Seahawks do better next year, if other teams do better next year, they can easily steal that 7th seed spot from the Packers if they're in that position again. Now, if they're not, if they somehow do a bit better, they end up like the 5th seed or the 6th seed or something like that, they're in a better spot because at least they won't have to face whoever the 2nd seed is next year. Okay, next up, the Washington Commanders, the 6th seed. Wow, man, nobody expected what they did. They took down the Buccaneers and then they went to go beat the Lions. They stomped the Lions. Granted, they got stomped by the Eagles, but man, I honestly, this might be a 10 out of 10 team. 10% chance, not 10%, 10 out of 10. Just honestly, I'm going to put it in a 10 ranking, I think, because they 100% have a chance to make the playoffs next year, okay? Unless they somehow get a slump, which that could happen, but I don't believe that'll happen, I don't think. I think they have a really good team, and they're going to even get better with trades, offseason approaching, with free agency, trading possibly, and drafting. So really, I mean, as long as I think they, I mean, they could easily. I don't know if they can win the division unless the Eagles have a little bit of a slump, maybe. But they could. You know, they did split with the Eagles, right? They split. Yeah, they split with the Eagles this year, and they beat the Cowboys. The Giants are bad. They're not going to be doing anything next year, I don't think, unless they magically get good. But the Giants won't be doing anything. I don't think the Cowboys would do much. I mean, I don't think so. With Jerry Jones not doing shit on that team and not saying we're all in this offseason and proceeding to sign nobody, sure. But I think they have a yeah, absolutely. They will absolutely make the playoffs again next year. Okay. Minnesota Vikings. This is a interesting not really interesting conversation, but the Minnesota Vikings are in a situation to where they're in a bit of a quarterback question, right? They have Sam Darnold, who had a good year, but he also had a terrible ending. His uh, Week 18 performance against the Lions was pathetic because they were playing for the number one seed, and they fumbled and lost. And not just that, they showed up in the playoffs and got stomped. They lost because so really, people are wondering if the Vikings give Sam Darnold another chance, or do they roll with JJ McCarthy? Now, if I'm the Vikings, I'm sorry, I'm going with JJ McCarthy because you spent a first round draft pick on him, and he is your young quarterback. Sam Darnold had a great year, but I mean, after looking about how he performed in that playoff game in that Week 18 finish, I honestly am not sure if I can trust him to not do the exact same thing. But I think the Vikings have a good team. I would say they have a probably an 8 ranking chance to make the playoffs. Right, they're pretty solid chance, pretty good chance to make the playoffs. I mean, again, as long as they can sweep the Packers again and maybe split with the Lions, which I don't think they did. Not did they split with did they beat the Lions? I don't think so. No, obviously they got swept with the Lions. I'm pretty sure, but they have a pretty solid chance. Okay, the Los Angeles Rams are the fourth seed, right? Or are they the third seed? I'm trying to remember. You know, it doesn't really matter. Let's just talk about the Rams next. The Rams, I don't know if they really listen. There's obviously controversy coming out now. Okay, there's rumors that they're going to trade Matthew Stafford and also Cooper Cup. And I mean, I'm a Seahawks fan, so I don't like the Rams, but I respect some of their players. They have a good team for the most part. I mean, they still hate them, but they have a good team. If they trade or whatever with Matthew Stafford and get rid of Cooper Cup, who are they going to replace them with? I mean, you got a question. Are they going to draft somebody? Because I mean, I don't think they have a good enough draft pick to pick one of the fewer higher prospects of quarterbacks, because most of them will be gone unless they plan to take like a second round kind of guy or a third round kind of guy. Or are they going to sign someone in free agency? Maybe sign Sam Darnold or something? Or are they going to trade for somebody? I don't really know what their plan could be. But let's just talk about two scenarios. If they keep Matthew Stafford, because he's shown that he still has a bit left in the tank and he can still play some football. He's not any kind of quarterback who's going to wow you and just go like absolutely crazy and, you know, make the team go undefeated, but he's still a pretty solid quarterback. He's good enough to win. That's what I'm going to say. He's good enough to win games. And he's there when you need him, you know. But if, let's just, again, talk about two scenarios. If they keep him, I would say they have a, I mean, it kind of depends on what happens in their division, which is, you know, my Seahawks division. It depends on if the 49ers are healthy again. It depends on if my Seahawks finally get a goddamn O-line and get better. And if the Cardinals stop sucking. But the Cardinals not sucking is illegal because they suck. Again, if the Niners are healthy again, that division might be in trouble, but I mean, it kind of depends. I mean, even when the Niners were healthy this year, though, I feel like they didn't really seem like a complete team. Something felt off about them, even when they were healthy. I'm not sure if maybe I'm just a biased Seahawks fan saying that, but I think I've heard some people say they didn't look. I don't know. They played a little off, but point being, I would say the Rams again. If they keep Matthew Stafford and if most things work, they have a pretty solid chance. Maybe about a 7. I would say a 7 out of 10 chance to make the playoffs again next year. If they don't, I mean, if they do trade Matthew Stafford and Cooper Cup, I think that chance drops to like a 3. It really depends on what they do with said quarterback position. Like, do they plan on temporarily signing a temporary guy and just kind of skip the entire year and wait for the next year's draft, like next year's draft? Or are they going to draft a rookie? Because, I mean, again, they have a good team, but like, what are they going to do with the quarterback position if they do get rid of Matthew Stafford and Cooper Cup? Because Cooper Cup, He was. I mean, he's a pretty solid receiver. He had a down year this year, but still, they are a good team. But the question is again, what are they going to do with this quarterback position? Like, if they get rid of Matthew Stafford, I don't really think they can make the playoffs. I don't think. I don't think they would. It really just depends on what they did. If they drafted some rookie who went off, yeah, they totally can. Or if the Niners don't stay healthy and they actually suck next year, and my Seahawks also suck, and the Cardinals also suck, then yeah. But I think it's really a question of what they do with quarterback. Okay, what's the next team? Buccaneers. I would say they are a good team still, and I think their division is a bit iffy because you had the Falcons who were looking good, and then they fell off the face of the earth, and they suck. Um, you have the Panthers who showed some flashes, but didn't get a whole lot of wins, and then you have the Saints who also suck. Saints, they're not winning the division. Panthers, probably not. Falcons, if Michael Penix can play good, better than Kirk Cousins, because Kirk Cousins absolutely slumped last year. I'm not sure. I remember how many so many people hyped up the Falcons and thought they were good. Kirk Cousins is overrated. Well, now he sucks now, but I don't know what happened. He like fell off the face of the earth. But I think the Bucks. I would say they have about again as long as they can stay on top of their relatively weak division, they can make the playoffs for sure. I mean, when you play in a division like that, all you gotta do is be better than everybody. All you gotta do is be better than your entire division. It's not that hard when it comes to that division, unless like the Panthers do something crazy and get some great players, so the Falcons get absolutely crazy, or again just do better with a better quarterback, or if the Saints, I don't know, bring back prime Tom Brady or prime Drew Brees. Yeah, I mean, but that's not happening. So I would say the Bucks have about a 9 out of 10 chance to make the playoffs just because of their division is weak. I think just because they have a weak division. Yeah, I mean 9 out of 10. Okay, 2 seed. Eagles. Yeah, I would say okay. The Eagles, they were 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 chance. Listen, unless again they have a slump or the Cowboys get resurrected from the dead and take the division because they have an easy schedule. I'm not sure if they actually do have an easy schedule, but usually when the Cowboys do good, they have an easy schedule, and it's just that they're not actually good. Unless the Commanders take the next step forward, which they might. I mean, but really, I think the Eagles 100% have a chance of making the playoffs. Unless they get decimated by injuries or something terrible, like they just completely suck next year somehow, or the Commanders take a next step forward and so do the Cowboys, then yeah, they won't make the playoffs. But I think they have a 100% chance, just 10 out of 10. Okay. Number one seed, the Detroit Lions. I almost said Dallas Cowboys, like that would never happen. I would say, okay, despite their terrible divisional slump, I still think they have a 10 out of 10 chance to make the playoffs next year. Unless, again, they won. They absolutely suck next year and they fall off or get decimated by injuries. And the Vikings or Packers take the division from them and overall playoff spot in general. Or maybe they just, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. They're a good team. They're a good team. And it's unfortunate that some of their defensive players were injured, especially Aiden Hutchinson, such a great player like that, to see him go down for the year, kind of affects the playoffs. But I mean, I definitely think they have a 10 out of 10 chances, unless again, I think I mean, yeah, their defense got really injured last year, but if their offense gets really injured like this upcoming year, it's over for them. Especially if like Jared Goff goes down for the year, or like Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm not saying I hope that happens because that would be terrible, but I definitely think they have a 10 out of 10 chance. Okay, off to the AFC. Who is the seventh seed? The Broncos. The Broncos, they're a good team. They not many people really expected them to make the playoffs. And I know, before you say they got their ass kicked by the Bills, I think we were all expecting that. No one expected the Broncos to upset the Bills, okay? Nobody. Not even Broncos fans probably thought they were going to win. But listen, I want to give it to the Broncos. Credit to them for even making the playoffs. It's first off, they did with their rookie quarterback. And again, they got stomped, but they got stomped by a superior team. That's going to happen. Sometimes when you make your very first playoff appearance since whatever year, since what, the year they won the Super Bowl with freaking Peyton Manning against the Panthers who choked. I mean, I would say it was a successful year, no matter how you look at it. Yeah, sure, they got bounced in the playoffs, but it doesn't matter. They made the playoffs for the first time in years, and they're going in the right direction, I think. I think they have a pretty solid chance as long as they can. I mean, again, like the Packers situation, you don't want to be the seventh seed though. You want to improve to at least the sixth or fifth seed. I mean, I mean, they can't win the division unless the Chiefs fall off and have a Super Bowl slump. Because some teams that lose a Super Bowl, the next year they're not the same. So that could happen to the Chiefs, or the Chiefs are just going to get help from the rest again and be good. You know, I mean, I would say the Broncos have a pretty solid chance, though. I would say they have about a 8 out of 10 chance to make the playoffs again. Okay, sixth seed. Who's the sixth seed in the AFC? I'm trying to remember. I think it's the Chargers. I'm not really going to go in order anymore. I don't remember the seeding. I'm just going to say sixth seed, Los Angeles Chargers. We're just going to say that. I'm not sure if they actually were. I don't remember. I just don't remember. Um, I would say the Chargers have a listen. The past two times they made the playoffs, they've absolutely fumbled the bag. They've absolutely fumbled twice, and I'm not blaming Justin Herbert because he's a great quarterback. But really, this team needs to figure shit out, man. To go to the playoffs twice, not 2 years in a row, of course, but to have your one playoffs, you lose to the Jaguars, you were winning the entire time, and then the way they played, I don't remember. How did this game go? Like Justin Herbert threw like 3 or 4 picks or something, and I think they were winning for most of the game, but then they started losing, or I can't remember what happened. I think no, I think pretty sure it was just straight ass kicking. Point being, I don't know if they have a chance. I'm just going to say that. I'm honestly going to be honest. I mean, if they improve, even if they do make it though, they might get stomped again because it just seems to trend for them. But I would say for the Chargers, they have about a 6 out of 10 chance to make the playoffs again. Maybe a 7. Yeah, I'm going to say a 7 because as long as they draft right, bring in players to help them because clearly they have issues, they can easily make the playoffs again. Next, uh, who's the fucking fifth seed, bro? I'm trying to remember. I don't remember. Oh, Steelers. I'm pretty sure the Steelers were like the whatever seed or yeah, the Steelers. I want to talk about them. Were they the seventh seed or was it the Broncos? You know, it doesn't matter. The Steelers. I think the Steelers were like the sixth or fifth seed. It doesn't really matter because I don't remember the order. But we're gonna talk about the Steelers next. There is rumors, obviously, that they're not going to keep Russell Wilson, obviously, and they might not even keep Justin Fields. Granted, the Steelers have strange magic that makes them always at least above 500 and always squeak into the playoffs just to get stomped in the wild card. So really, I mean, it really depends on what they do. But they have a pretty good team around them for the most part. But they can never execute. Their offense is never what it can be. It's always being held back by something. And I feel bad for players like T.J. Watt, who is really fucking good, but he's just stuck on a team that's only going to make the wild card and no further. I just feel bad for him. I'm not saying he should. I mean, they probably should. I wish they would, so he could just go win somewhere else. Trade him to my Seahawks, please. I'm joking. That would never happen. But trade him somewhere where he can win. You know, he doesn't deserve to be on a team that's just never going to win because the Steelers are in a weird spot to where, I mean, they play good, but then they also don't play good. There are some games this year where their offense is abysmal, and maybe if they get a better quarterback, because I love Russell Wilson. He brought my Seahawks a Super Bowl, but I got to say he was not very good with the Steelers. He had some moments, I will say, but he wasn't like prime Russell Wilson with the Seahawks, you know. And I think if the Steelers want to make the playoffs again, though, their goal is to get a better quarterback. I think. I'm not sure how they would do that, whether it's signing someone or trading for someone or drafting someone. But I mean, as long as they improve their team a little bit, they can make the playoffs. But I'm gonna say they have about a 5 out of 10 chance to make the playoffs again. I'm just gonna be honest. But granted, again, they have that strange magic, strange Tom. Why am I forgetting their coach's name? Mike Tomlin. I almost said Tom Holland for some reason. Mike Tomlin. They have this strange Mike Tomlin magic that makes them always above 500, like 9-8 or 10-7. But they're mid as shit, and they still always make the playoffs. But they'll always make it at least. Also, I want to say I'm running out of gameplay, so I will literally have to go stop recording for a second, grab more gameplay, and then add more because I'm not even done talking about all the teams. I still got a few more teams to talk about. So, but I'll talk about what I can in about like, I don't have enough time. But the Steelers, I say they have about a 5 out of 10 chance. It really just depends on what they do. But I don't know, especially because their offense is just always, I don't know. There's times where their offense looks great, and then there's times where it doesn't. So, again, especially if they don't keep Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, whatever they're doing with that, it really just depends. Anyways, I'll be right back. I gotta go get more gameplay. I have returned. I'm back. Sorry, I just decided to grab the spare Modern Warfare 3 gameplay that I was saving for another video, but I'll start here because I already have it. So I don't have to take any time and kind of forget what I was talking about. So, anyways, back to the conversation. We were talking about the Steelers. They have a 5 out of 10 chance to make the playoffs again. Okay, next team, Texans. I hope I'm forgetting all the teams. I really hope I'm not forgetting anybody. But the Houston Texans, they had a bit of a slump compared to what they were last year, the year before. CJ Stroud's rookie year. That year they were a lot better. This year they were iffy, but really, I think they have a perfectly fine chance to make the playoffs. I would say about a 9 out of 10 chance. Really, I mean, they're in a weak division. It's kind of like the AFC South and the NFC South are very similar to the point that they both have very weak divisions, and every other team sucks. As long as the Texans are again just better than better than the Colts, better than the Titans, better than the Jaguars, no problem. They'll make the playoffs easily. That's for sure. I don't think they really have anything to worry about. Um, they had a pretty good playoff run. They beat the Chargers and then they went to go on. They lost the Chiefs, unfortunately, but that's because of the devil magic of the Chiefs. Just for the Chiefs to get stumped in the Super Bowl makes me very happy. But yeah, they have. I mean, they'd have to legit suck, and really, I don't think anyone else other than like Colts or Titans or Jaguars fans want to see any of those teams in the playoffs. But you know, I think the Texans will be fine. Okay, Baltimore Ravens. Same thing. No, they have a pretty good division. Be honest, like they have a good division. They have obviously the Baltimore Ravens and Cincinnati Bengals. The Steelers could be good, but and then the Browns. You got to feel bad for them a little bit because they had the potential to be so good, but then they're stuck paying Groper Cleveland. God knows the amount of money just for them to not even play. Good old Deshaun Watson, yeah, one of the worst trades in sports history, my man. But we're not here to talk about them. We're here to talk about the Ravens. They would have to fall off the face of the earth too, unless the Bengals have a resurgence. But I feel like there's a world where both the Bengals and the Ravens can both make the playoffs in their own division. So really, I would say the Ravens have a 10 out of 10 chance, like, unless something happens, like Lamar gets hurt for the year or something else. But really, there's no reason why they shouldn't make the playoffs. I don't think. Okay. Next, Buffalo Bills. Same thing. They have a really weak division. They have the terrible I mean, the Dolphins aren't terrible, but they're not good. I mean, even if the Dolphins didn't make the playoffs, they'd go play some cold team and then they lose. So they'd go play in some cold city and then get their ass kicked. So really, the Patriots they have potential, but I don't think they're gonna be making the a jump from bad to great in 1 year. So, and then there's the Jets. The Jets are cursed, and despite no matter how much talent they have on that team, they can never do good. I also hope for all the players' sake, like all the good, skilled players who are just being held hostage on the Jets, I hope they all get traded to somewhere better. Like, I hope players like Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, Brees Hall, all those players get rescued from having to play for that terrible team that can just never capitalize on their good players. But anyways, Buffalo Bills would legit have to vanish. Like, Josh Allen would have to retire from football for the Bills to miss the playoffs. 10 out of 10. No chance they're not making it. Okay, I think we're almost done. Yeah, all we got is the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm trying to think back and making sure I'm not forgetting any teams. I'm pretty sure I got all of them. Okay, Kansas City Chiefs. Um, Probably another 10 out of 10 just because the fact, I mean, as much as some people would hope that they would probably have like an off-season slump or a Super Bowl loss slump, kind of like how the I don't know, some teams have not like some teams again, they either have a slump after winning or losing the Super Bowl, and the Chiefs could have that slump, but I think the chance of them not making the playoffs is pretty low. So I'm gonna say they're probably another 9 out of 10. I would say 10. No, I'm gonna say 10 out of 10 because I don't think the NFL and the refs would allow Patrick Mahomes to miss the playoffs but that's not happening. So yeah, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. I think that's all the teams. I'm pretty sure I got everyone. I'd be very embarrassed if I realized I missed a team. No, I'm pretty sure I got everybody. Okay, but yeah, that is the video. Thank you guys for watching. Let me guys know what you think in the comments below, and let me know which teams you think in this like current, which teams that made the playoffs this year can make the playoffs next year. Also, go ahead and if you want to make a playoff prediction for next year, go ahead. My Seahawks are the #1 seed next year. I'm joking. I wish, but that's not happening. But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. I have a Star Wars video. I'm going to be talking about the current state of Star Wars. I know you think the current state of stuff because I did one for Call of Duty and then I did one for Halo. You think that's reserved for video games? No, I want to talk about Star Wars too. So that video will probably come tomorrow. I might work on it a little bit tonight, but I mostly might just drop it tomorrow. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video and have a great rest of your day.